The film opens with Cooper Adams behind the wheel, driving his teenage daughter, Riley, to a highly anticipated concert featuring her idol, Lady Raven. Their conversation reveals the underlying tension in Riley's life, particularly regarding a schoolmate named Jody, who has been creating quite a bit of chaos for her. As soon as they arrive at the concert venue, Riley erupts in excitement, as does the crowd of young fans around her, as Lady Raven takes the stage. The atmosphere crackles with energy, but Cooper isn't there to enjoy it. He pulls away.
I gotta go to the bathroom,
claiming he needs to go to the bathroom. Cooper then checked his phone, but not for messages or social media. Instead, he's monitoring a live feed from a camera he's set up to watch Spencer Gordon, a man he's holding captive. As Cooper heads back to the concert floor, he unexpectedly bumps into Jody's mother, who seizes the chance to discuss the ongoing issues between their daughters. Cooper, trying to avoid the conversation, politely gestures for her to move along and makes his way back to his seat next to Riley. Once he settles in, a troubling sight catches his eye: an unusually high number of police officers streaming into the venue. Instantly, the wave of concern washes over him, setting off alarm bells in his mind. During intermission, Cooper takes Riley to browse the merchandise stand in hopes of buying a concert t-shirt. But when they are about to get one, another girl takes their last shirt. Cooper, trying to keep the night special for Ryle, talks to the seller, Jamie, to see if there's any way to get another one. As their conversation flows, Jamie drops a chilling tidbit. The police are on high alert because they received a tip that a notorious serial killer known as the Butcher may be at the concert, and they've cordoned off the venue to prevent him from escaping. Cooper laughs off the comment, trying to calm down, but inside he's on high alert because he knows the truth. He's the Butcher. Realizing that he needs to create a diversion, Cooper discreetly pushes a drunken woman down a set of stairs, looking like she's lost her balance. As a result, all attention goes to that woman. Seeing the chaos, Cooper tries to exit through the main gate, but can't touch it when a police officer, Auken, gives him the distraction he needs. He and Riley returned to their seats as Lady Raven launched into her next song, while another artist came up from the basement, sharing the stage with Parker Wayne. Still feeling the tension, Parker tries to lighten the mood by joking with Riley about hiding under the stage to see where it came from, but Riley just rolls her eyes, dismissing her father's antics as silly. Not long after, Cooper makes his way back to Jamie, who takes him to a storage area to fetch that t-shirt for Riley. During their chat, Jamie reveals that he's a bit of a true crime enthusiast and has been closely following the news about the Butcher's gruesome killings. Cooper, taking advantage of the situation, subtly steals Jamie's ID card before they part ways. Using Jamie's ID, Cooper slips into a restricted area where police are being briefed on their strategy to catch the Butcher. He skillfully swipes a police radio, gaining access to their plans. As he listens intently, Dr. Josephine Grant, the FBI's top profiler, discusses the various ways the Butcher might attempt to escape. Just as Cooper makes his exit, he bumps into Jody's mom again, who is now more determined to discuss their daughters. To avoid raising any further suspicion, Cooper reluctantly agrees to let Riley and Jody hang out after the concert, just to get Jody's mom off his back. Knowing the police will prepare for a chaotic confusion, Cooper decides to play up to their expectations. Disguising himself as an arena worker, he threw 2 glass bottles filled with oil into a hot fryer, which exploded as a passerby passed by, causing severe burns. After the chaos begins, he goes to the roof, where he runs into 2 SWAT officers. Thinking quickly, he flashes Jamie's ID and drops the code word he heard, Hamilton, to let them know he's there. And the funny thing is that this code was Jamie himself telling Cooper the code. Back in the concert hall, Riley excitedly mentions that Lady Raven is going to choose one lucky fan from the audience to be her dreamer girl for the night, a coveted honor that every girl in the crowd dreams of. Seizing the moment, Cooper approaches a Clue member who chooses Dreamer Girl. He weaves a heartbreaking story about Riley's recent battle with leukemia, playing on the man's emotions. Inspired by the story, and tentatively Riley was cast as the Dreamer Girl. On the other hand, backstage, a girl suddenly falls ill and faints. Cooper hurried her into the restroom with his arms around her. The nurses and everyone else present are amazed at Cooper's kindness, that a man could be so humane. Cooper treats the girl with care, leading to a chance to stay there. At that time, he noticed that the singers were coming and going backstage. The program continues, and Cooper has already earned their trust. He even gets a backstage card. He asks the pair's team manager, can they take the car backstage at the end of the program? The girl agrees. Although Cooper is happy, his plan does not work well, as security is very tight and many questions are encountered. Cooper doesn't want to take the risk. On his radio frequency, he hears a female FBI agent saying that each boy will be picked up and checked up in the next 20 minutes. That is, Cooper must escape from here quickly. Cooper realizes his time is very limited. He goes straight to Lady Raven and reveals his true identity, saying, I am the butcher, who has been set up for capture. He even shows the video of the captured man and threatens that he can now release the carbon monoxide so that the man dies. Cooper already knew that Lady Raven was kind, so it would be easy to trap her. Cooper makes only one request, that he and his daughter be taken out safely in the cart he arrived in. Lady Raven agreed. Finally, they can escape the tight security. But there's a twist. Lady Raven tells Riley she wants to go to the Riley's house. Riley is very excited to hear this. Cooper is torn. He doesn't want to cause trouble in front of his daughter, but he can't stop her because he's so happy. Lady Raven arrives at Cooper's house to meet his family and reveals that they were trying to catch Butcher at the concert. Cooper still sits and listens, but his gaze is elsewhere. Lady Raven tries to convince Rachel that her husband is the infamous Butcher. She continues to reveal suspicious information about Cooper, such as the color of his car and his OCD. Some obscure information about Butcher's childhood also emerges. Meanwhile, when Cooper tells her to leave him, Lady Raven sneaks into the washroom with Cooper's phone. Cooper panics and demands her phone back. Rachel, however, takes it easy. She figures a celebrity this big wouldn't steal a phone. But Cooper's restlessness continued to grow. Lady Raven then tries to contact the captive boy and asks for his whereabouts. The incident was live-streamed and reported to the police. Lady Raven finally shouts that Rachel's husband is actually the serial killer, Butcher. But before that, Cooper has trapped them in the upper room. Cooper takes Lady Raven hostage and escapes with his wife's car. At this moment, Lady Raven tries to talk about Cooper's mental state, as if she is Cooper's mother. Even these words of his cannot have any effect on Cooper. Cooper's statement suggests that childhood trauma turned him into such a serial killer. He believes that to stop the beast inside him, he must end himself. As Cooper leaves the car, he sees his family, who have climbed down the windowsill of the house. Cooper is in a difficult situation. On the one hand, he wants to be an ideal father. He wants to give his children the love he didn't get as a child. But when his children begin to see that dark demonic form in him, how will Cooper himself face the situation? It's like he's saying goodbye to his children. He closed the door and entered the room. Meanwhile, the police have surrounded the entire house, but can't find Cooper. Cooper built a basement in the house, through which he went to a neighbor's house. While there are some SWAT members there, Cooper kills them and steals their clothes and escapes. On the other hand, as Lady Raven is returning home, Cooper hijacks her car dressed in a SWAT suit because he knows he must capture Lady Raven to survive. As they were leaving, the Fasts surrounded the carriage, and Lady Raven took this opportunity to untie her hands and move between them. Meanwhile, Cooper gets out of the car and blends in with the crowd, so SWAT can't catch him. Actually, it is a kind of hide-and-seek game going on. Meanwhile, an FBI officer named Dr. Josephine Grand, who has previously caught many serial killers, especially those suffering from mental illness, finds it difficult to identify them. They do not give any warning signals before making their prey. They mingle with us, smiling and happy. But the trauma that is accumulated in their heads forces them to take such action. Cooper is such a sane. The Cooper children are sent to Rachel's sister, but Rachel decides to stay alone. Cooper comes to visit her that night. Cooper's phone realizes that the trap was not sprung at the concert, but rather that the trap had already been sprung in his room. Cooper was suspicious of Rachel. Perhaps he helped the police, but how? The truth is, Cooper didn't come home very often at night. He said he was going to work, but never went anywhere. Rachel suspected that Cooper might be having an affair with someone else. Cooper had an odor coming from his body, which was not the smell of a fire brigade, nor the smell of hospital cleaning fluid. Cooper could lie so perfectly that people easily believed him. One day, Rachel follows Cooper and arrives at an abandoned house. According to Cooper, he went there to spend time alone, but did not kill anyone. But Rachel is somewhat understanding. He later entered the house and placed a piece of concert ticket found in Cooper's pocket. Then call the police and say that Butcher is probably hiding there. All of Cooper's plans fail. Rachel might have wanted to help him, thinking Cooper might be okay. But Cooper knows that he is sick and that it will only end in his death. But first, he will kill Rachel. He developed a deep hatred for Rachel. Because of Rachel, he would never see his children again. He would never see his daughter grow up again. He could not accept the way his children looked at him with hatred. Rachel accepts his death, but before she has Riley's cake, she tells him to eat it, and then Cooper can do whatever he wants. Cooper eats the cake, but later realizes that Rachel laced it with sleeping pills. In fact, this drug was used by Cooper, the butcher, on his victims to render them unconscious. As we saw, Cooper arrived with a bag, which he placed in Rachel's car. Before the police can find the bag, Rachel finds the bag and takes the medicine from it. Maybe he guessed Cooper might come here, and it was this trap that he set out to get. Cooper steps into that trap. Cooper begins to pass out from the drug and realizes that his mother's presence is actually the FBI officer, Dr. Josephine Grand, who was directing the entire operation. Police have already cordoned off the entire area. Police arrive and taser him, but are unable to subdue Cooper. As the police were taking him away, he tried to take Riley's bicycle. This marked his last memory, and the police gave him permission. He meets Riley and quietly gets into the car. But who knew he would take off a part of the bike just to touch it and quietly untie his wrists. Thus ends Cooper's story. But in the mid-credits scene, we see Jamie, whom we saw at that concert. She is watching a news channel discussing Cooper's identity, and the sight of Cooper's face makes her cringe. Jamie thinks he helped the butcher himself. He resolves not to be a good man in the future. No matter how good a man looks, he will never trust anyone so easily. And this is where the movie Trap ends. This was the story of the movie Trap, where every twist will surprise you and the dark side of Cooper's psyche will be exposed. If you were faced with such a dire situation, what would you do? Don't forget to let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to press the bell icon for new videos. Thanks. See you in the next video.